Hello guys, welcome to our new YouTube channel TechBird, and today we will cover an important topic, Azure Databricks, and there are some interview questions related to this topic. So first will we know what is Databricks. In the data analytics, data science, this is a very important tool, Databricks. It is in high demand. So Azure Databricks is a cloud-based service that helps you analyze, please understand, analyze and process big data. And it's like powerful computer program that can help you turn large amount of data into useful information. This can help you make better decision, improve your products, services and make your business more efficient. Think of Azure Databricks as a digital notebook where you can run and store your data analysis projects. You can use it to import from various sources, clean and process the data, and then run calculations and visualization to gain insights. You can also use it to build and train machine learning models. In short, Azure Databricks is a tool that makes it easier to work with big data and extract insights from it, all in a secure and collaborative environment. Now, we will go through the most frequently asked questions, interview questions about Azure Databricks. So let's go through it. What is Databricks? So Databricks is a company founded in 2013 and headquartered in San Francisco, California. It is the creator of Apache Spark based platform called Databricks. Means it is based on Apache Spark, which is a cloud based platform for data engineering, machine learning, and collaborative data science. Databricks provides a collaborative environment. Most important, it provides collaborative environment for data engineers, data scientists, and business analysts to work together on data projects. It offers a web-based notebook environment which makes it easy to develop, run, and share data analysis projects. The platform also provides tools for ingesting, transforming, and preparing data and advanced analytics capabilities such as graph processing, time series analysis, and geospatial analysis. Azure Databricks is a tool. Remember, it is a tool that helps you work with and analyze big data, not a simple data but big data in the cloud. It is like an online notebook where you can store and run your data projects. You can use it to import data from different sources, clean and process the data, and use that data to get insights and make decisions. Now, what are advantages of using Databricks? So why we use it? What is the need to use this Databrick? We will go through it. We will try to understand. So the thing is that scalability, integration with Azure services, and Apache Spark based. So these three are the advantage, and we will go in more detail about them. So it's a powerful platform for processing big data and provides several advantages including scalability. So what is scalability? Azure Databricks allows you to quickly and easily scale your cluster resources up or down as needed, making it easy to handle large datasets and meet your computing needs. Second one, integration with Azure services. Azure Databricks integrates seamlessly with other Azure services such as Azure Blob Storage, Azure Data Lake Storage, and Azure SQL Database, allowing you to store, access, and analyze your daily data easily. Third one is Apache Spark based. So Azure Databricks is built on Apache Spark, is a powerful and widely used open source big data processing framework. This allows you to leverage Spark's rich ecosystem of libraries and tools to process and analyze your data. Define caching. What is caching? So term cache refers to the practice of temporarily storing information. When you visit a frequently visited website, your browser retrieves the information from the cache rather than the server. This saves the time and reduces the load on the server. This is precisely known as caching. Is it safe to clear the cache? So the question was, is it safe? So answer is yes. Clearing the cache is acceptable because any program doesn't require the information. Only any program. Only a specific program require this information of cache. Number 6, is it necessary to store the outcome of an action in different variables? So it is not required to store the outcome of an action in different variables. It would be entirely dependent on the intended use. Should you get rid of any unused data frames? Cleaning data frames is not necessary unless you use a cache, which consumes a significant amount of data on the network. How do you troubleshoot Azure Databricks issue? The best place to begin troubleshooting with Azure Databricks is with the documentation, which contains solution to a variety of common issues. Databricks support can be contacted if additional assistance is required. Number 9, is Azure Key Vault is a viable replacement for secret scopes? Azure Key Vault can be used as a replacement of secret scope in Azure DevOps, but it depends on your specific use case and requirements. In general, if you need to store secrets that you need to access from multiple Azure DevOps organization or other cloud-based services, you may find Azure Key Vault more convenient. However, secret scopes may be more convenient solution if you only need to manage secrets for a single Azure DevOps organization and don't need to access them from other services. What languages does Azure Databricks support? Python, Scala, R are example of programming languages that can be used. SQL can be used with Azure Databricks as well. 11. What are major features of Azure Databricks? So collaborative workspace, data ingestion and preparation, machine learning and AI, advanced analytics. So we will look at each point in detail. Number 1, collaborative workspace. Azure Databricks provides collaborative environment for data engineer, data scientists and business analysts to work together on the same project. Data ingestion and preparation. It provides tools for ingesting and transforming data from various sources including cloud, data stores like Azure Data Lake Store and relational database like Azure SQL Database. Third, machine learning and AI. Azure Databricks provides platform for building and deploying machine learning model with ingestion for popular machine learning framework like TensorFlow and PyTorch. Advanced analytics. It supports advanced analytics including graph processing, time series and geospatial analysis. What are some issues you can face with Azure Databricks? So issues are like cost, complexity, integration, performance, data security. So what is cost? So Azure Databricks can be expensive, especially if you have a large dataset and need to provision a large cluster to process them. Careful planning and management of your cluster resources are important to keep costs under control. Otherwise, your costs can go up. Complexity. While Azure Databricks provides a lot of powerful features, the platform can also be complex to set up and use, especially if you are new to Apache Spark and big data processing. This can make it challenging for some users to get started and get the most out of platform. Integration with other tools. Azure Integrating Azure Databricks with other tools and technology can also be challenging, especially if those tools are not natively supported by the platform. You may need to write custom code or use third-party solution to connect Databricks to other systems. Performance. Performance can also be an issue with Azure Databricks, especially if you have large datasets or complex queries. You may need to tune your cluster configuration or write optimized Spark code to ensure optimal performance. Data security. Securing and managing sensitive data can be challenging in any big data platform, and Azure Databricks is no exception. You will need to carefully plan and implement security measures such as encryption, access control, data masking to keep your data secure. Number 13. In Databricks, what is difference between instance and cluster? Very important. So instance and cluster. In Azure Databricks, an instance is a single VM, means virtual machine, that runs Apache Spark. And a cluster is a collection of instances that work together to process and analyze data. An instance provides the computational power, memory needed to run a Spark job and store data in memory. You can run multiple instances. Sorry. An instance provides computational power and memory needed to run Spark jobs and store data in memory. You can run multiple instances in parallel to process large data set, and each instance can be used to run multiple Spark tasks in parallel. A cluster, on the other hand, is a collection of instances that work together as a single unit to process and analyze data. When you create a cluster, you specify the number of instances you want to include, as well as the amount of memory and CPU resources each instance should have. In short, an instance is a single unit of computational power in Databricks, while a cluster is a group of instances that work together to process big data. 14 question. What is management plan in Azure Databricks? The management plan in Azure Databricks refers to set of features and tools that are used to manage and configure the platform. It provides a set of tools and features that you can use to manage your Spark cluster, Spark jobs, library, secrets, configuration, ensuring that your big data processing runs smoothly and effectively. 15. What is the control plan in Azure Databricks? So the control plan in Azure Databricks refers to underlying infrastructure and components that manage and orchestrate the processing of big data. It provides the underlying infrastructure and components that run big data processing and makes it possible to process and analyze large data sets efficiently and effectively. Spark applications are managed by control plan. What exactly is the data plan in Azure Databricks? So data plan: store, process and retrieve. The data plan in Azure Databricks refers to components that are responsible for storage, processing, retrieval of data within the platform. This includes features like DBFS, Databricks file system, tables, data lake for storing data, as well as the Spark engine for processing it. In simple terms, if you understand, the data plan provides a foundation for data management and data processing in Azure Databricks, making it possible to store, process, and analyze large amounts of data in fast and efficient manner. This is the part of Azure Databricks that is responsible for handling and transforming raw data into actionable insights. By using the data plan in Azure Databricks, you can simplify the process of working with big data, as well as reduce the time it takes to turn data into meaningful insights. Additionally, The data plan provides a variety of tools and features to help you manage and process data, making it possible to work with data at scale. Number 17. What is the use of Kafka in Azure Databricks? Apache Kafka is an open source distributed streaming platform that can be used in Azure Databricks to ingest, process, and store large amount of real-time data. In Azure Databricks, you can use Kafka as a source of sync for data, which enables you to build a streaming data pipeline that processes data and in real time. What is the major reason behind using Kafka in Azure Databricks? So Kafka is used in Azure Databricks to provide a scalable and reliable way to stream data into the platform. You can use it to publish real-time data streams such as logs, events, or matrices to a Kafka cluster, and then use Spark streaming to process and analyze the data. Additionally, you can use Kafka to store and process data in Delta Lake, which provides a scalable and reliable data lake for big data. 19. So guys, before I proceed with this question number 19, so this is a overall interview session, question answer of Databricks, which will cover from basic to the most advanced topics in it, and in it from the interview perspective, from the learning perspective, from the practical perspective, this tutorial is very important because this tutorial is helpful in understanding the concept of Databricks from interview perspective. So please don't cut this video and we continue with it and see it more and more, and you will find it very easier at the end of the video. So now, what are some of the key use cases of Kafka in Azure Databricks? So real-time data processing, data integration, event-driven architecture. So some of the key use of Kafka in Azure Databricks include real-time data processing. By using Spark streaming in Azure Databricks, you can process real-time data from Kafka stream in near real time. This enables you to gain real-time insights from your data. Data integration. You can use Kafka to integrate data from multiple sources and stream it into Azure Databricks for processing and analysis. This can help you build a comprehensive data pipeline for big data. Event-driven architecture. You can use Kafka to publish events such as changes to data or user interaction, and then process these events in real time using Spark streaming in Azure Databricks. What is the benefit of using Kafka in Azure Databricks? Use of Kafka in Azure Databricks enables you to build a scalable, reliable, and high-performance data pipeline for big data, helping you to turn real-time data into actionable insight. What is DBU in Databricks? In Databricks, DBU is a unit of measurement of database cluster uses, specifically for resource allocation and building purposes. A DBU is blended unit of compute and memory resources, representing the computational power of virtual machine. Databricks customer can provision and run their Apache Spark workload on Databricks cluster, and their usage of those cluster is measured and built in DBU. DBU allow Databricks customer to pay for only the resources they use, rather than having to allocate and pay for entire VM. This makes it easier for customer to scale their cluster resources up or down as needed without having to worry about complexity of managing individual virtual machine instances. Question number 22. How would you use Azure Databricks to process big data? Now, The very important question. This question can be asked from you that what is the steps, how you process big data using Azure Databricks. So provision a data brick cluster. Second, upload data. Third, transform data. Then analyze your data and visualize your results. So these are the steps. So provision a data brick cluster is the first step. To get started, you shall need to create a data brick cluster, which is collection of VM machine that runs Apache Spark. You can provision cluster in Azure portal or through the Databricks REST API. Upload your data. Second step, you can upload your data to Databricks by storing it in Azure data storage such as Azure Blob Storage, Azure Data Lake Storage or Azure SQL Database, and then accessing it from your Databricks cluster. Third is transforming your data. Once your data is uploaded, you can use Spark SQL, Spark Streaming, or other Spark libraries to transform it into suitable form for analysis depending on your needs. This might involve filtering, aggregating, or pivoting your data. Analyze your data. Databricks provides a wide range of analytics tools and machine learning algorithms that you can use to analyze your data. For example, you might use Spark MLib to train machine learning model or to use Databricks built-in SQL analytics function to perform ad hoc queries on your data. Then visualize your result. Finally, you can use Databricks built-in visualization tool or export your result to visualization tools such as Power BI to view and explore your results. 23rd, can you give an example of data analysis project you have worked on Azure Databricks? So imagine you have a retail company that wants to analyze customer purchase data to understand their buying behavior and improve their sales and marketing strategies. So first is data ingestion. You can use Azure Databricks to ingest the customer purchase data from various sources such as relational database, Amazon S3 or Kafka. Data cleaning and transformation. You can use Spark in Azure Databricks to perform data cleaning and transformation such as removing missing values, duplicates and converting data types. Data storage. You can store the clean and transform data in data lake, which provides a scalable and reliable data lake for big data. Data analysis. You can use Spark SQL, machine learning libraries, visualization tool in Azure Databricks to perform data analysis and uncover insights. For example, you can use Spark SQL to aggregate data by customer segments and compute key matrices such as the average purchase value and the frequency of purchases. You can also use machine learning algorithms such as regression or clustering to predict customer behavior and segment customers based on purchase history. Then is data visualization. You can use the built-in visualization tool in Azure Databricks to create interactive dashboard, chart, graph to visualize the result of your analysis. Using Azure Databricks, you can simplify the process of working with big data and turn the customer purchase data into actionable insight that can help the retail company improve its sales and marketing strategy. 24. How would you ensure the security of sensitive data in Azure Databricks environment? Now, as you can see, we have come to the security component of Databricks. We have seen introduction of Databricks. We have seen the components of Databricks. We have seen the architecture of Databricks. We have seen how it processes the big data. We have seen what are the tools, the process used in processing the big data from end to end. Now, We have come to security part for this, and let's see. So how would you ensure security? So access control, encryption, data masking, network security, auditing and monitoring. Ensuring the security of sensitive data in Azure Databricks environment is crucial. It's crucial to protecting sensitive information and complying with data protection regulations. So without data protection, it is of no use to use any tool. If our data is not protected, our data is exposed to the threats, then it is of no meaning how we are processing the data, how big things are we doing. So security at the end is very important. We have to protect our data at any cost. So first is access control. You can use AD, means Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory to manage access to Azure Databricks and control who can access the data. You can also use RBAC, means role-based access control, to assign different access level to users and groups. Second is encryption. You can use encryption to protect sensitive data at rest and in transit. In transit means when the data is moving from one end to another end. Azure Databricks support encryption at rest using Azure Key Vault, Azure Storage Services encryption. You can also encrypt data in transit using SLS, SSL and TLS. Then data masking. You can use data masking techniques such as anonymization, pseudonymization, encryption to protect sensitive data fields such as social security number, credit card numbers. Network security. You can use VM, virtual network, and firewall rules to secure the network connection between Azure Databricks and other Azure services and control access to the data from the internet. Auditing and monitoring. You can use Azure Monitor to track activities and detect potential security threats in Azure Databricks. You can also use Azure Log Analytics to analyze logs and monitor security of the data. 25. Can you explain the concept of collaborative workspace in Azure Databricks? So collaborative workspaces in Azure Databricks provides a collaborative environment for data engineers, data scientists, and business analysts to work together on big data projects. With collaborative workspaces, you can share notebooks, data, and models and collaborate in real time on the same project. Collaborative workspaces in Azure Databricks provides a unified environment for data engineers, data scientists, and business analysts to work together on big data projects, helping to simplify the collaboration process and ensure that everyone has access to the latest data models and insights. So this is how the collaborative environment work in Azure Databricks. So which of these two options, a Databricks instance or cluster, is superior? So which is superior, instance or cluster? In general, if you are looking for a fully managed platform for big data and AI workload, fully managed, a Databricks instance may be the superior option. If you are looking for a scalable and flexible platform for running Spark jobs, a cluster may be a superior option. Ultimately, the choice between Databricks instance and cluster will depend on your specific use case and requirements. Your use case and requirements. You may find using both Databricks instance and cluster is the best solution for your needs. 27 point. Which cloud service category does Microsoft Azure Databricks fall under? SaaS, PaaS or IaaS? So major Microsoft Databricks belong to PaaS, means platform as a service category of cloud service. In PaaS, platform as a service, the cloud providers manages the infrastructure and provides a platform for building, deploying, running app and services. The providers take care of underlying infrastructure such as servers, storage, networking, allowing customer to focus on building and deploying their application and services. With Azure Databricks, customer can build and run big data and machine learning workloads on a fully managed cloud-based platform that runs on top of Apache Spark. The platform provides suite of tools, services for data processing, machine learning, collaboration, and underlying infrastructure is managed by Microsoft. That's why it's a PaaS. By using PaaS like Azure Databricks, customer can avoid the cost and complexity of managing their own infrastructure and focus on building and deploying their app and services. 28 point. What are the differences between Microsoft Azure Databricks and Amazon Web Services Databricks? So let's see. Microsoft Azure Databricks and Amazon Web Services means AWS. Databricks are both cloud-based platform for data engineers, machine learning, and analytics that run on top of Apache Spark. However, there are some differences between the two platforms. Cloud provider. First difference. The main difference between two cloud platforms is the underlying cloud provider. Microsoft Azure Databricks runs on Microsoft Azure Cloud Platform, while AWS Databricks runs on the Amazon Web Service Cloud Platform. Then integration with other services. Another difference is level of integration with other cloud services offered by the provider. In case of Microsoft Azure Databricks integrates with other Azure services such as Azure Active Directory, Azure Blob Storage, Azure Data Lake Storage. AWS Databricks integrates with AWS services such as Amazon S3, Amazon DynamoDB, Amazon Redshift. Then see the pricing. The pricing for the two platforms can also differ depending on the specific services used and amount of resources consumed. Customers should compare the pricing for both platforms based on their specific use case and requirement and then choose any tool out of these two. What is serverless database processing in Azure? Serverless data processing. Serverless data processing in Azure refers to the ability to process database workloads without having to provision and manage infrastructure. This allows you to scale your database processing resources as needed without having to worry about capacity planning and management. In Azure, serverless database processing is provided by Azure Function and Azure Synapse Analytics, formerly known as SQL Data Warehouse. With Azure Function, you can create serverless function that can be triggered by various events, including database updates. This allows you to process data in real time as it arrives in your database without having to provision and manage infrastructure. With Azure Synapse Analytics, you can process large amount of data using a combination of on-demand and provision resources. Azure Synapse provides serverless experience for big data and data warehousing workload, allowing you to scale your processing resources as needed without having to worry about capacity planning and management. Then, what is most efficient way to migrate data from an on-premises database to hosted to one hosted on Microsoft Azure? The most efficient way to move information from an on-premises DB to one hosted on Microsoft Azure will depend on specific requirement and constant of migration. However, some of the most methods for migrating data from on-premises database to Azure include Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory cloud-based data integration service that can be used to copy data from an on-premises database to Azure. This method provides a simple and efficient way to move data to Azure and supports various data sources and formats. Azure Database Migration Service. Azure Database Migration Service is a fully managed service that simplifies and automates the process of moving on-premises database to Azure. This service supports various database platforms including SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, and provides a simple and efficient way to move large amount of data to Azure. Backup and restore. You can also use backup and restore to move your on-premises database to Azure. This method involves taking a backup of your on-premises database and restoring it to database in Azure. This method provides a simple and reliable way to move your data to Azure, but may require additional effort to manage backup and restore process. BCP Bulk Copy Program. BCP is a command line tool that is used to import or export large amount of data to or from a SQL DB. Batch Bulk Copy Program. This method can be used to move data from an on-premises SQL Server database to an Azure SQL database. Azure ERC. Azure Arc is a new service that allows you to manage resources running on premises in other clouds or at the edge from a single control plane in Azure. You can use Azure Arc to move information from an on-premises database to an Azure database by first deploying the database on premises and then migrating it to Azure. Each of these methods has its own pros and cons, and the best method for your migration will depend on your specific requirement and constraint. You should carefully consider the data volumes, frequency of updates, complexity of data, and other requirements when choosing a migration method. Now, the conclusion is that you have to write in comment box, and I hope you would have liked this video of Azure Databricks. If you need more information, you can put your comments in the comment box. We will come on the channel with more videos on such important technical topics. Till then, goodbye.